Daily SEO here. Today I'm going to be talking about why SEOs need to realize that interactions, including purchases, through the web no longer need to be through a website. Now, I'm not saying that SEO is dead. I'm not one of the people that are saying SEO is dead by any means. This isn't even really about searching, not directly. But this is aimed at SEOs, particularly those working in e-commerce and working with services, including SaaS. I would like to say that SEO is not going anywhere anytime soon, in my opinion. As long as there are websites, we will need SEO. As long as people are using the websites, and people will continue to use websites for the foreseeable future. But like in a similar way to how there's e-commerce stores, but people still use bricks and mortar stores. What is true is that in a few years' time, a significant number of people will not use websites as their principal way of accessing services or purchasing on the internet. And still more people will, for certain things, not use websites as the way they access the web all of the time. AI agents, by which I mean AI tools that you use more like a personal assistant that can take actions for you, will do a lot of tasks for you if you want them to, including things like purchasing, filling out forms, opening accounts, booking appointments, and they don't necessarily need to use the front end of a website to do that. So neither the AI agent or the user is necessarily using the website. Why would the AI agent use the front end of the website, which is made for humans, as long as we can create a back end aimed specifically at AI agents? So while everyone is worrying about optimizing content for AI, and optimizing the content itself, what we actually should be worrying about is optimizing also interactions for AI. Assuming that we have a website where there's an action like purchasing, booking an appointment, filling out a form, we want people to take at the moment. So, if you're someone who works in e-commerce, then what we're talking about really is having your website created in such a way that AI agents can create an account for users. They can find all the product information they want in the format they want, and ultimately, in the near future, they need to be able to purchase on behalf of the user. If you're in the service industry, or you're in an industry where you're selling a product which you normally would speak to people before they actually purchase it, you can still do that, but it might be that the appointment is going to be booked by the AI agent through the back end of your website, comparing the user's calendar to the available appointments. So optimizing for machine AI accessibility to your website isn't the same as optimizing for search engine accessibility. AI agents don't crawl sites like a search engine crawls sites. In fact, they'd rather not access the human-tailored front end of your website at all. And this is why we're starting to get standards being set up so they can do everything they need to through the back end of your website through endpoints like APIs. Setting up access to the back end of your site is far more important in the long run than setting up access to the front end of your site. Though right now, setting up your front end of your site so it's accessible is also important. But you need to be aware that Amazon are stealing a march at the moment, particularly if you're working in e-commerce, because they are developing solutions using Nora Actions, which will integrate with Alexa, where you'll be able to order Amazon products very soon via your Alexa voice-controlled app or device. Once AI agents exist, then it's much easier for people to use those and compare all the e-commerce sites in the world rather than use Amazon as a starting point. There are various standards that can be brought together now to actually start setting up your website so that AI agents can now and in the future access your web offering via the back end of your website. Those standards include things like MCP, Model Context Protocol, which I've written an article about as well. And I'm trying to work on finding where there are still gaps in the standards and where the different standards exist, often in different places, and try and bring everything together in one place and putting together an overview of what actually needs to be done, which I'm hoping to launch fairly soon. So then the last thing I want to say, just at the end of this video, is if you are interested in working with me on putting those standards together, please do get in touch. I want to make it as inclusive as possible, and obviously different points of view on it are going to be really useful. And secondly, if you want to have an audit done for you of machine accessibility or AI accessibility standards on your website, I have a standard version and I have an extended audit version for e-commerce sites, then please do get in contact or go to my website and book an appointment and we can talk further. I've been Dave the SEO, taking a nice walk here at Hawkcliffe Ravine in Calgary, and thank you very much for listening.